All right, what's going on YouTube? Chapter 1076 is finally out and we got to talk about it because this is actually one of the craziest chapters coming out this year. Right now, Luffy and Zoro are thinking about freeing Lucci and Kaku. Basically, they're lying to Luffy, saying they're not going to betray him. And then immediately, as Zoro's trying to tell Luffy they're obviously lying, we see Baby Mihawk, use Daz Bone's fruit, which is like the dice fruit. He has like sword body or whatever, right? And Zoro notices it, and he sends like a shockwave with it. So obviously, Daz Bones, I don't know if Daz Bones ever did that, but this guy, Baby Mihawk, probably got one of the best devil fruits for his personality and his skill type, right? So I think Vegapunk actually did a really good job in picking devil fruits for these seraphim, right? So we got the wave fruit for Jinbei, which is perfect because obviously he's a fishman, and then we got Baby Hawk with the dice fruit, which is obviously perfect because he's Baby Mihawk. So I think Vegapunk is doing an A1 job when it comes to devil fruits, right? So Lucci just comes straight up clean and he tells Luffy that he's definitely going to gun for his head, and Luffy actually tells him that when these 4 guys are out of the way and you realize you can't beat me, will you not be a sore loser and go after my friends, yada yada yada. So Luffy's basically telling Lucci that you have no chance, which is funny because he went into Gear 5, which I think people are taking, too far. I think some people are mad that he went into Gear 5 to fight Lucci, but here's the thing. I think that when it comes to his gears, I think sometimes we overrate how strong like the awakening really was. The awakening was very powerful, don't get me wrong, but the advanced Haki was definitely the most heavy hitting thing that Luffy awakened during the battle on Onigashima. It's pretty obvious since Kaido basically said it's something only the very strongest can use, and he clearly did not use it on Lucci, right? And we have other examples even during Wano, like Luffy fighting Ulti, which a lot of people try and point out as Ulti being stronger than post Udon Luffy, which is just cap, right? He loses the headbutt, right? And then he gets caught, has to go to Gear 4, but obviously he goes to the roof and drops Kaido with a Gear 3 Red Rock, which is very indicative that he did not use Ryo on Ulti or page 1. So clearly when Luffy does not use advanced Haki, his attacks are not nearly as strong as they would be. All right, so then we get Lucci and Kaku finally free, and now Zoro and Kaku are taking on Baby Hawk, and Lucci and Luffy are taking on Baby Kuma. So we got Lucci matching Luffy's Kongon, which is pretty insane. I'm not sure if they're matching power, but we also got Zoro, his Purgatory, and Agiri matching Kaku's Tempest Kick. This is actually pretty insane. I'm not sure if they're matching attacks exactly, but it kind of looks like they're matching attack power. So that's honestly pretty insane, right? And I have been saying for a while that Lucci and Kaku are kind of underrated, and I kind of honestly see them on like a commander level of strength. And honestly, from this, it kind of does seem like they might be on a commander level of power, because to be honest, I don't think any commander is beating Luffy, even if he doesn't use advanced Haki. I'm gonna be real with you, because even in terms of base arm and Haki, all the commanders are still weaker than Luffy. So honestly, this is pretty impressive out of Lucci and Kaku, I'm gonna be honest. All right, so now we're going deep into a government lab, and we actually see some CP5, CP7, and CP8 agents. All right, so all these agents are basically stuck somewhere on the island, and they are not able to get out because of the weaponized sea beast. And we find Dr. Vegapunk, and he's actually beat up, and he had no idea what was happening on Egghead right under his nose. So basically, whoever's doing this has been controlling parts of Egghead on their own. So Vegapunk has a traitor among them. I think some people have said that it's Stussy, but I don't really think so, because we just watched Stussy betray CP9, or sorry, CP04 Vegapunk, so I think Stussy is in the clear, but it might be somebody else. Maybe Shaka. Some people have theorized that it might be Shaka, but that's up for debate. And Vegapunk says something actually very interesting. He says the whole affair has been baffling from the start. Word leaking to the government about our research into the Poneglyphs should have been impossible. So it kind of looks like Vegapunk has his own version of Kanjuro in his team, and he needs to find it. And then we hear that the Navy has deployed 100 ships from branch G9, all heading for Egghead. So yeah, the Navy's gunning for Luffy, and we know St. J. Garcia is coming as well, so that's probably why they're bringing so many ships. And Kizaru's coming, so this is probably going to be one of the biggest battles, like post-Wano, so this is going to be pretty insane. All right, now we're going to elbaf. A lot of Shanks fans are going to be very happy with this, because their theories might have been confirmed with this newest chapter, because we see Shanks in elbaf, and he's talking to a kid, just like Luffy, telling him that he cannot join his crew. So basically, Shanks goes to any island he can, finds random kids, inspires them to be pirates for some reason, and one day gives them a straw hat to bring back to him. Why? Because he's a weirdo. I'm not sure why, but this is pretty cool to see. And then we got Rockstar, my main man Rockstar. I remember when people thought this guy was Rox Dieselbeck. That was so ridiculous. But anyway, we got Rockstar coming up, and he's telling Shanks that the kid pirates are out there and they're waiting to fight. And we actually get some confirmation about Kid losing his arm, and we find out that it was not Shanks. We found out that it was Ben Beckman who took his his arm. So that's actually pretty insane. And now he's coming back, and who knows, he might even be stronger than Ben Beckman now, because, you know, Kid has become really powerful. But this really just depends on how strong Ben Beckman is. Some people have theorized that he's like equal to Shanks. I don't personally think that. I think the Viva card kind of makes it clear that you have to take it with a grain of salt. I'm not sure if he's exactly as strong as Shanks, but that would be pretty insane, because Shanks is basically relative to Kaido, and for Ben Beckman to be that strong, that would kind of make his crew like virtually unstoppable, because it's like 2 Kaido level characters, which is kind of crazy, but who knows. And we get more confirmation of Shanks' connection to Elbaf. He asked Dory and Broggy for help. Yes, Dory and Broggy from the pre-time skip, those guys are back and they're ready to lend a hand. So this is actually gonna be pretty insane. And actually we get a little like box title, whatever thing, in this chapter, and tells us this island is actually Elbaf, home of the most prideful warriors around. So something has changed, right? So I thought it was gonna say the strongest warriors around, but right here it's saying most prideful warriors around. It's not saying strongest. And you know, Elbaf was said to be the strongest country. I'm not sure if Oda is retconning that, but we're gonna have to wait for the viz to see if that's like the official translation. But for right now, they are the most prideful warriors around, and he's ready to go to war with Kid with the giants behind him. So I don't think Kid actually stands a chance. At the end of this chapter, we see Kid talking to Killer, right? And Killer once again confirms that Kid did not lose his arm to Shanks. He lost it to Ben Beckman. And he says, before we didn't even get to see a glimpse of red hair himself, right? And everyone's cheering on Shanks. He's kind of like a stud in this chapter. We got Kid and Shanks at the end of the chapter, and they are looking dead at each other, ready to fight. And Kid is actually kind of sweating. So when it comes to Kid and Law, these guys, man, these guys have gotten some good fights after one. I don't know why Luffy is not getting a good fight. Like, I want him to fight like someone who's actually strong, right? Hopefully Kizaru can do that for him. But Kid and Law, these guys get to fight Blackbeard and Shanks. Hopefully they do well, because I don't think either of them are going to win. I think they're both getting crushed, but it's definitely going to be fun to watch if Oda even puts it on screen. Hopefully he doesn't off screen it. So we'll have to wait and see in the next chapter, but that's all we got for this one. So make sure you rate it down below out of 10, and I'll see you guys in the next chapter. Peace.